I love my wife, and it's like, yo, something has to change. It's like this, we can't continue on this way.
About this love. Love.
How you guys doing? Welcome to the About This Love podcast with your host. I'm Sherelle. This is my wonderful, lovely, handsome husband, Dale.
You sound sarcastic.
No, I'm not being sarcastic, but I'm saying all of that because I normally don't get to introduce us. So I'm actually excited to do so, and I'm trying to follow along with whatever you normally say. So here we are with part 2. So in part 1, what did we talk about, Dale? In part 1,
We discussed Mike and
we discussed why did I get married. The couples, we broke down Mike and Sheila.
If you gonna do all that, why you just do it then?
Well, because I ain't want to be long-winded, like you said. If you hear from part 1, remember she's so long-winded.
Yes, and Patty and Gavin, right?
And Patty and Gavin. Yep, we got the name right this time.
And so, I mean, if you haven't seen part 1, please go back. Basically, we just discussing Tyler Perry, Why Did I Get Married, movies 1 and 2, and just the different things that we've seen from a marriage perspective, this issues with each couple, and for couples who are married, who want to be married, how to kind of mitigate some of that stuff that we saw, and just being able to watch something that may be destructive and learning so that you don't follow in the same path in your own relationship or marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. I like how you broke that down. So in part 1, we had broke down the different couples dynamics with
just those two.
With those
Gavin
two.
And Patty and Mike and Sheila.
And so what was your synopsis about that for those who didn't come from episode 1?
The synopsis is that they can go and watch it. That's my synopsis. They can go and watch part 1.
Good.
That's the synopsis.
And then also go and watch Why Did I Get Married. I mean, this is not sponsored. Tyler Perry Studios is not paying us to do this. No. We just typically watch Black Christmas movies. And not that this was a Christmas movie, but we kind of started in November. So I guess we're watching family-friendly movies in November. And
if you haven't too, watch Tyler Perry Finding Joy on Amazon Prime. That was one of her favorite movies.
No, it was not. I actually did. Don't even get me started. I did not. He tried to trigger me on here, and no.
Sure, you did, sure. Cut it out. You like that movie.
I did not like that movie.
Whatever.
And we can have another podcast episode.
She bottle capping, yo.
If you know, you know. If you've seen it, we're gonna do a podcast episode breaking that down because I definitely had my issues with that. Like it was some stuff in there that I wanted to like it. I really did, but you liked it. We all see who we.
She a hard critic, yo.
We all hear who likes this movie, right?
She a hard critic.
Okay. I mean, I wanted to. I really did, but it didn't hit home for me.
It's funny because over the weekend we were up in the mountains. We shot the Come Abraham podcast with our friend Amadi. We were talking about movies. And they was like, so Sherelle, if you come to our house, you can't talk during movies because Sherelle be pausing the movie, want to give you her breakdown. Like, Sherelle, can we just watch the movie, yo? I ain't got time for all of this, yo. So yeah, she's big on that. She'll pause the movie, want to give you her breakdown and what's going on. Like, Sherelle, let's just watch the movie, yo. Like, she be trying to overanalyze the movies and stuff. So, yeah.
You know what? And the suggestion that they gave to us is that you have to take notes and wait to the end. And you know what? I'll just do that, and I'll come back and tell y'all how that went.
So, on the last podcast episode, we talked about Mike and Sheila and Patty and Gavin. On today, we're going to talk about Angela. And what was the guy's name?
Angela and Marcus. Angela and Marcus. And then, who was the other one? Oh, Tyler Perry.
Character and
his wife.
I don't even know their name. I'm sorry. But
I'm going to Google it so we're not just butchering them.
Marcus and Angela.
Terry and, oh, dang. We know Troy. Hold on. And Diane.
Oh, yeah, Diane, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
We hadn't watched this since Thanksgiving, and we're now like a week from Christmas recording this, so please forgive us if like the details aren't like sharp.
So
Terry and Diane.
Diane and Angie and Marcus.
Angela.
One of the things that I will say is that, like, in the movie, it's funny because they both were cheating, but you could tell they've had a very rocky foundation from the start. Because in the movie, one of the Angela was very loud and obnoxious and like, I don't care, y'all looking at me. I don't care. It's like, yo, chill out. Like, at some point, she was even embarrassing the friends. But one of the things I will say is that, like, it's clear that whatever happened in the beginning of the relationship made her very insecure. So because of her husband's choices or malpractice in handling his wife, she's very insecure, and you could tell throughout the movie, that's one of the reasons why she behaved the way that she did. She was very insecure. You can tell that the movie talks about cheating, infidelity on both of their parts, but it kind of highlights, from what I feel, what I got from it, that he was the main one who cheated because he was in the movie.
He was a football star.
Yeah, a retired.
Was it basketball? No, it was football. He was a
football player. So he was probably getting a lot of women who were throwing themselves at him. He probably took them up on offer. So because of that, she was very insecure. But in the movie, to me, I won't say he's mild-mannered. He seems very mild-mannered. but it seemed like they're very opposite in their personalities. I'll say, would you agree with that?
Now that you say it, yeah, I can
'Cause
see that.
he was more so reserved. He wasn't mild-mannered. But he was very much reserved.
So it's funny because we actually know a couple who, like, one is very excitable and the other he is kind of calm in his demeanor. So, but it's like, that's probably what attracts them together.
Yeah.
You know, and not that there's infidelity, but
you can calm me down.
Well, yeah, it's like they balance each other out. Like, one, it's like you bring so much excitement into my life, and then with the other one, it's like, yeah, you keep me on my base.
It's the same with me and you. Like, I feel like I'm not loud, but I'm more of the sociable type. Can talk to anybody, and Sherelle's more so like, you're not antisocial, but you're also not as outgoing as me as well.
I'm not outgoing. I am a hairdresser. Listen, well, yes, but hear me out.
That's your job. That's different between your job and actually your personality.
Hear me out. I am a extroverted introvert, meaning I can stay in the house all day long. I can, but it's like, but when I go out, I know that people expect that of you to like engage with them. So then it's like another side of me has to come out. But that social battery is limited. It is what it is. It's probably 2 AA batteries that I have with like people. I don't know. Like, I guess you're like that all the time. So that's probably why the neighbors talk to you and don't talk to me.
Yeah. So,
I mean, but I say hi.
Yes. So Angela in the movie comes off as, to me, is very crazy, like deranged. Like, she's with cause to be these things, but it's like you doing too much.
Well, hear me out. So to your point, you said it when you were, describing them as a couple, where there might have been a lot of things that Marcus has done to not build her up, to not reaffirm her and trusting him, and probably the multiple infidelities. Because when I was thinking about it, I'm doing the math. Like, Marcus has young kids. They've been together since college. He probably stepped out and had that baby within their marriage. Yeah, exactly.
Or they could have had a break.
Ain't no break in marriage. If y'all married, y'all married. I mean, y'all could call it whatever you want to, but
it doesn't allude to how long they were married.
Okay, I'll give you that. But either way, when I think about like maybe some of the insecurities, he may have been very passive in the way that he husband, like, well, I just kind of let Angela do whatever. And we as people of God know that there has to be some pouring into one another for not to like calm that down, but hear me out. I don't think she likes being up there. I don't think anyone really likes being up there, because what you'll see towards the end of part 1 of Why Did I Get Married is that she's just like, well, you know what? I cooked you dinner. I'll stop drinking for us. But you got to think about the situation that Tyler Perry kind of brings us into in their storyline. He's out of a job. She has this empire. And it seems like he's just like sweeping the shop.
But the movie says that she was able to get that empire off of his professional football money.
I understand. So
it's not like he's a nobody. He's just as much. So, I mean, you can't take that tone, because it's like, well, if I'm a professional basketball player and I buy you a salon, but then I get injured and I'm no longer playing professional ball, that's still our empire to be obtained together.
I understand that, but it won't feel like together if you done had this baby on the side on me, or you been cheating on me on the side on me. Like, yeah, you gave me this money, but that was the initial investment. Now there's no other investments other than that, and you are not putting it to the home. Now, I'm not agreeing with the tone that she took with him at all, and I'm not agreeing with him stepping out because he felt like she was so crazy or whatever. What I'm just saying is just that both of them was out of pocket on so many levels. But like I said, I wish that we could get a peek into maybe their early beginnings and what led to what.
Their foundations.
Yeah, their foundation, because it's almost like he could have been cheating on her when he was a pro baller and even before then. And she just accepted it.
He is cheating now. He definitely was back then.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is just that he could have been cheating and she saw it, but was like, well, he chose me, so whatever. And I'm crazy enough and got so many different personalities, because we believe that as people, we believe we can put ourselves in a space where we believe that, well, he chose me and he gave me his word that he's done with the rest of these people, so that it is what it is. And if not, I'm going to just be crazy, or I'm going to bust him upside his head or whatever and get him straight. And obviously you see that was running him off, because then towards the end, when she was going in again about one of his children's mother showing up to the salon. Yeah, Keisha, you better check that. Okay, anyway, I ain't going to say it on here, but either way, when I tell you, You look at it and it's like, he was out of pocket, but she out of pocket, but he out of pocket. And, we get into these conversations about what came first, the chicken or the egg. And it's almost like, how are we cleaning this up? Because at this point, we are scrambled eggs at this point. It don't matter which came first. We are scrambling the eggs because it's not like we can handle the chicken or the egg. You get where I'm going? It's like now we're looking at the scramble on the stove. And now it's like, well, we're going to divvy it out. We're going to make sandwiches or what we going to do with this? We're going to eat it like it is. And I know I'm giving this analogy about eggs, but what I'm saying is just that we see the problem at hand. What I was told when I felt like you and I were butting heads and we had disagreements, and it was almost like it was little fires everywhere of contention between us and unresolved things. And it's just like, I was told by older wives who really wanted to see us thrive in our marriage, you cannot be immature at the same time. And that's what you're seeing with them.
Somebody has to be mature.
Yes. Meaning you see the issue at hand, you cannot react in that same immaturity that they are showing you. And yes, it's hard, especially for us believers. And
especially they're saying, don't be petty.
Basically. And I want to say for us believers, it's almost like we could get on this pedestal as young believers, as young wives. I feel like we get on this pedestal where it's like, oh, well, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman and, this scripture says this and that scripture say that and he need to be leading. He need to do this. So I'm going to just follow his lead on that and da-da-da-da. And it's just like, yeah, we are hyper-focusing on that. But why not be like the wife who had the unbelieving husband, where through your character and your action, you win over his heart. And I think that's where the shift, where you can kind of see that shift happens when she realized he is at his wit's end with me. And I do not want to lose this man. So through my character and my actions, like she had said, you know what, I want us to work. And it drives me crazy. And to your point, they communicated about it. They actually sat down and was like, I don't like this. And with the cheating, you make me feel really crazy. I feel like I cannot trust you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to continue on like that. Go ahead.
Diane and Terry, which is played by Tyler Perry, is Terry in the movie. One of the things that, like in the movie quite a few times, and I feel like this is probably relatable to a lot of men, especially like men who have wives in the professional realm, is that she was always busy. Well, that's actually not true because she didn't want to have another baby, or she didn't want him to figure out. So yeah, in the movie, I Get Married, Terry and Diane's character is that throughout the movie you see him making a lot of advances to have sex with his wife, but she would keep doing things to get out of him, be intimate with him, and he actually noticed it. And one of the things that kind of came out in the movie due to Messy Mike, was it Messy Mike? Yes, but the wife got her tubes tied. Terry wanted to have another child, but Diane wanted just to pursue her career. I don't want to say she became partner, but she was climbing the ladders within her company. She wanted to pursue a career, and she knew that having another child would only hinder that. So throughout the movie, you kind of see that dynamic and them kind of do that different dance. And of course, he became frustrated with her. That, of course, made them kind of, just have conversations and things. And after it came out that she got her tubes tied towards the end of the movie, like, did they end up leaving? Or was that part one?
So in part one with them, he was more so frustrated that she was a workaholic. I think it's like, well, we're both established. I want to grow this family. And hear me out. I'm glad that we put Marcus and Angela and Terry and Diane on this second one, because I think they both have similar issues. Not specific issues of infidelity, but I think they have similar issues in a way that they did communicate. I don't think they had the same issues of not communicating.
I remember when you and I were watching the movie, and not to cut you off, we were having a conversation like, can you have it all? Remember that?
Yeah.
And, like, for instance, the career that I do is very demanding. It's not an issue for our family because my wife is a stay-at-home mom, but if she had a career that was also demanding, I could see that causing tension in our marriage. And I think that sometimes, like, I don't know the dynamics of Terry and Diane's relationship, but the one thing was clear in the movie was that he was a doctor and he was home every day because he said, I get our daughter from school. Basically, she was very non-active in the lives of her husband and her child. She wanted to climb this career ladder. So during us watching the movie, we were actually watching it. One of the questions that came up was, can you have everything? And I feel like that's one of the greatest lies that we believe.
I heard someone say it this way: you can have everything, but just not in the same season. So like I mentioned the Proverbs 31 woman earlier, and it's like, you think she was like baking the bread and then out in the market and, and being an entrepreneur and doing all these things in one day. This is different seasons throughout her life. And I really like that was broke down to me in that way, because it's almost like I was in a season where I was working. Now that season is over, and now I'm at home. Yeah, for now. And I mean, who knows what season I will be in when we become empty nesters. I probably will be, doing something else because kids aren't here, right?
Yeah.
But to the point of like us talking about these two couples, what I can actually see from their perspective, and I don't know if that's what like Tyler Perry was trying to put out there, but this is what I noticed. I think it was their frustrations come from unmet expectations. They both had unmet expectations as a couple.
What did Diana have unmet expectations about?
I think that I don't know her background, but I was just like, I wonder why she didn't want to have any more kids. And I think that has to do with her background and wanting to be.
It tells about her career. She wanted to pursue her.
Yeah, but people don't just want to pursue the career without there being some background things. You know what I'm saying? Like overarching things that could have been pushed as a family, or she could have come from poverty, whatever the case may be. And I mean, Terry, like, he might have always imagined having a big family. So you get those two people coming together, and maybe when they were younger, it was like, yeah, we can have it all. Like in Diane's mind, yeah, we can have it all. Or maybe during childbirth and labor, that could have been rough for her, and she could have thought about how her mother raised her or whatever. Anything could have. And then her thinking, man, I'm not going to be such a great mom. You know what? Terry got it. He always wanted to have a family anyways. He loved doing that. That could have been going on in her mind. So I think that it's just unmet expectations, which can lead itself to, like, in the beginning of the marriage, they probably thought they could have it all, And then as it's being played out, it's like, oh, well, dang, we actually can't. And Diana's probably thinking, what is the problem? Didn't we talk about this? You got your child. I got my job. You good. We got money in the bank. What is the problem? And same for, I was going to call him Gavin. Same for Marcus and Angela. Angela was probably thinking, I married a pro football player. We set for life. He just got a $30 million contract. And then now he working in her salon, Then it's like, and hear me out. If you know salon culture, because as I do, it's probably a lot of like, girl, he's still up in here working. Like, and you know that she probably overheard, and family too, family influence. Yeah, girl, he working in a salon because he blew through that 30 million 2 years after he got that contract and got injured. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff does weigh on people. Not that you should listen to those things, but it just sounded both to me like unmet expectations. On top of everything else added on.
I mean, also too, I think that in the movie he was very vocal to her, and it seems
Terry.
like, yes, and it seemed like she was just avoiding, and even the part where she got her tubes out and it didn't tell him, but she told one of the friends, is like, yeah, I think for him that's kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of, I wouldn't want to say being defiant, but just her not wanting to kind of hear him out.
Yeah, continue on having the conversation about children.
And it's interesting because the dynamic between Angela and Marcus and Terry and Diane is that, like, when Terry threatened to leave, or when he actually left, like, she wanted her husband. And
yes.
I was thinking to myself, it's interesting, like, how I love my husband, I love my wife, but it's like, yo, something has to change. It's like, we can't continue on this way. And it's funny because, like, why does it take that having to happen before you realize, I don't want you, don't leave me. It's like, I've been asking for 5 years. Like, it takes me being extreme to threaten to leave you or leaving the house so you actually kind of fall in line. But one of the things that I do commend Diane for is that, like, praise God, she wanted her husband. She wanted her family. Like, she didn't
more than she
didn't want. Maybe she realized, I don't actually want this career more than I want my family. I don't want the career at the cost of my family. Sometimes people just kind of have to come to the place of, and not to go off on a tangent, but I will go off on a tangent, which is why throughout us having a podcast, we've always talked about mitigating debt, not having the nicest cars, not having the nicest phones, not having the nicest things, so that you can come to a place in your marriage where you're able to actually mitigate costs and not having to work 2 jobs, or your wife not having to work so hard in her career. But it's like, if I'm trying to live a lavish lifestyle and we both got Mercedes Benzes out in the front yard or BMWs in the front yard, it's brand new. It's like, yeah, you got to work for that. Or have a nice size house. Yeah, you got to work for that. I know people who have mini mansions. It's like, yo,
McMansions, what they call it.
Like, dude, you make what I make, so how you afford that? But it's like, yo, they killing themselves. That's how they afford it. It's like, I don't want to be in a position where I have to live at my job to afford my lifestyle. And this is my perspective. You know, what does it matter if I go out there, if I can afford a mini mansion for my wife and children and afford to have Sherelle drive the new BMW or the Lexus SUV, but I'm never home to actually enjoy it with them? Why does that matter?
Well, hear me out. I would think that as a young couple, people have those dreams and aspirations because they didn't have it or because they always seen themselves having it, right? And I don't knock the people who have it, right?
Yeah.
If they could comfortably afford it, or even if they can't comfortably afford it. And let me tell you why I say that. Because if that's what they decided they wanted to work towards as a couple, because not everyone wants to have children, or can have children, or have the mindset to have financial wealth or whatever. We are instructed to think about those things, but not everybody does, and they're still a couple, and that doesn't make them a bad couple, if that's even a thing. But I will say I don't knock those couples who do. I like that you caution them, Dale, in that, and just giving our example, because if you are young and you guys come together and say that that's the goal and that's what you all want to work towards, then I'm glad that you guys are working towards something together on that and doing the things to obtain and maintain those things. However, I will add to your cautionary tale to say, revisit the expectations that you have with your spouse, though, because when things shift, that doesn't make sense. If it's like, well, we got married, but then, you know, Jim Bob broke his leg like a few months after the wedding, so now we can't afford this big mansion that we just put a down payment on. Maybe we need to go somewhere with something more affordable in our budget. And I think going back to your husband or your wife and being honest about it, like, this is actually a bit too much for me, and I know what type of lifestyle you want to live, and I do want to provide that, but this actually isn't what I want anymore. And I think that's a great place to start. Like, are you going to respond in love? Because I think that's another conversation to have, like, to really analyze. Because I think we do this thing, I want to say around our anniversary, we do this thing where we actually sit down and analyze, like, oh, we've come far. Like, in February, we'll be celebrating our 9th year being married. And it's almost like we'll sit down and be like, wow, we have actually come this far. And is this the life that we want? Do we still want this, you know? And I don't think people do that as time goes on. It's just this assumption that, well, we still coming home to the same place. We still putting money into the one account or into our accounts to maintain this lifestyle.
Even over the weekend, we just having a conversation about it. One of the things that I actually appreciate, like the Bible talks about, you know, you older women teach the younger women how to be wives and not to be busybodies, and older men teach the young guys. And one of the things that over the weekend, we all got a big mansion, a mini mansion up in Western Maryland. We all kind of spent the weekend there and had a wonderful time. And we had wonderful conversations, and many of them are people that we walk in the faith with. One of the gentlemen, him and his wife are empty nesters, and another one, you know, that they have kids going off to college. But it was like, hey, Dale, you and Sherelle are in a season where you have small children. Sit home, chill, just enjoy your children. Like, don't be out here, you know, doing too much, because this is a season where your kids are small. You're only gonna have that time one time. And I really appreciate that, because I feel like sometimes people aren't really open to the season that they are in their life. So I appreciate people saying that, because like my wife was telling me, yeah, so-and-so just had a baby and they out in the club. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, and I feel like people's ideas, oh man, you gotta live it up, you never know when. But it's like, brother or sister, if you got a wife and children, man, go home and, like, for instance, my day. What in the world would I like leaving work, going out to a bar to drink with somebody when I ain't seen my wife and kids all day? Do you know how crazy that is? That's crazy. Me working 12 to 16 hours a day during the week, and then on weekends I'm going to hang out with my buddies.
Like,
I ain't spent
weekend.
no time with my wife, no time with my kid. And I'm not saying there's a problem with doing that stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing it if you do it like every now and then or once a month. But if you're doing it like a few times a week, every week, like, dude, that's ludicrous.
I mean,
you know,
I think
and I feel like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I agree with you, but I think the heart behind it is like putting that before your family, putting everything else before your family,
Yes.
especially when you are in a season where you have to sacrifice so much for them, sacrifice spending the time to work for them.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys for joining the conversation, just having the different couple breakdowns of why to get married. We're going to finish up on the next episode. I feel like we've kind of taken 3 parts, and we'll kind of bring it to a close on the next episode. As always, thank you guys for ingesting our podcast. You can find it anywhere where podcasts can be found. About This Love. Be more. You can always be more. Until next time, peace.